going on, guys, and welcome back. Fun day here at Southside Sales and Service. Behind us we have our 2024 XC9R that is not yet built to a 9R, but that is what we're getting ready to do today. So if you guys haven't been here yet, last year we took a 23 XCR, we put a full crate motor 9R from Polaris. This year we kind of hopped it up and we did a whole video on it, but just for a brief explanation or overview, we have an Indy Specialties long rod billet crank 9R that will be going in this. So today is disassembly day. We are gonna get it to a certain point and then we're gonna bring it over to Rick, who helped us do last year's sled, because this is what he does every single day. And it'll take him 1/8 of the time that it would take me, and it's definitely gonna be done right. So we're gonna just kind of get it down to a certain point of kind of where I run out of talent as a mechanic, and then Rick is gonna jump in here. He's got to put all the accessories on, so he's probably gonna do that off camera, because that's probably not that interesting to you guys, because we got it as just a bare long block. Reeds are put in it now, but aside from that, everything is off it. So we're gonna go ahead and tear everything apart, get this torn down pretty much again to where I run out of talent. I got to pull front shocks off because Bruce is going to valve them. We're going to put different springs on that. Comes with hundreds. We're putting 120s on it. Already went through the rear and put the long tail torsion springs in. So that's really exciting, and I'm excited to try that. So is Bruce. It feels really good just pushing on it. So he valved both of those rear shocks ready. We have a high gear dual rate up front, long tails. And so we're just going to start tearing into this thing and seeing what we can make happen. So I'm going to put the camera down and kind of get my hands dirty here. And here we are. Rick just came over and said this is a good enough spot to bring it over to his bay and tear into it. We did make the executive decision to remove the electric start, just like we did in last year's sled. Just get a bunch of the weight out of it. I mean, between battery, starter, ring gear, there's definitely a bunch of weight sitting there. I don't know the exact number, but I'd assume somewhere in that 10 to 15 pound range, which is a lot. I'm sure someone out there knows. But shocks are off, clutches are off, and Rick said, bring this thing over. So we're gonna go ahead and roll her on down to his bay and just watch him tear into this thing just like he did last year. It's pretty impressive. Rick is, you know, the head honcho in mechanics when it comes here. He's got all the certified stuff from Polaris, and this is what he does pretty frequently. He's quick at it, very, very efficient, and never had an issue. I mean, we threw that thing together last year and not one little hiccup. So we're gonna roll it over there and get to digging in. I leave the man alone for 5 minutes and I come back and it's 99% torn down. So if you guys weren't here last year, this is Rick. Rick, say hi.
Hi.
So I got tied up doing another project and I brought it over here and I came back and literally 90% of it is out. So again, no electric start, so that's all out. Starter, Bendix, that's all out. Pretty much intake plenum is out, not intake box. Oil tank's out. Clutch guard is out. And he's just moving and grooving. So if you guys wanted to see kind of like a step-by-step, we did a pretty in-depth one last year. So I'll put the video up on the screen here. But you're almost at your favorite part.
Yeah, getting close.
Getting close?
Close. Got a little bit of stuff.
Couple more things to go. These air boxes are a pain in the butt. Again, we went into a ton of detail on that last year. But they're pretty shaky, huh, Rick?
Yeah, they got them packed in there pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
The one-piece design definitely makes it hard to gain clearance to pull the stuff out.
Maneuver. So like I said, where my talent runs out, Rick picks up. So I ran out of talent, now Rick picks up. So where are we at now? We're just...
So we're gonna pull the PBR out now, which is this box here.
Which is
basically the PBR is short for power boosting regulator. These came...
I thought it was a beer.
I mean, it is also a beer. You know, if may or may not have tried a few in my day. These came out back in 2019 when the 850 was first introduced. Basically, this is taking over for a lot of different components. Back in the 800 days, we had a regular voltage regulator, a pile of capacitors, and just a bunch of, a signal converter, and a bunch of other stuff.
So this PBR takes over
This
all
takes
that.
over all of that, which, the cool part, I guess, is there's much fewer components here. The downfall is if you do happen to have an issue, diagnostic on it's very difficult, and they're a little proud of the part. Granted, I really haven't seen a full-on PBR failure yet. I'm sure the day will come, it will happen, but as of right now, they've been surprisingly bulletproof.
Yep. So PBR's coming out. This is Rick's little area. He does quite the amount of engine builds back here and engine replacements, like I told you guys. He did get the 9R all buttoned up. I left him, and this was all apart still, and then I came back, and this is what I found. So I'll show you guys when we start getting to like the nitty-gritty, like airbox, engine removal, so on and so forth. So as he's moving and grooving on this wiring harness, I said, you might want to undo that knock sensor. And he said, no. He goes, this is how you test it. So you want to explain to the people how you test the knock sensor?
Well, if you leave it hooked up all the way throughout the engine removal process, when you go to pull the engine out of the chassis, if the wire breaks, you had a bad wire. If you can't get the engine out and you have to disconnect the wire, then you know you had a good one.
Right,
So you didn't have
right. So you go through all this to test out that knock sensor.
Yeah, that's chapter 7 of the service manual.
Yeah, and he's also trying to get me to take out this intake, and I don't know. I'm not really feeling it today. A little under the weather.
I think you should go for it. Maybe he's going to jump right out of there.
I mean, you're right there right now.
We are.
And it's like, he's just unplugging stuff, cutting stuff, and it's like, I'd be sitting here taking pictures and videos so I remember where everything goes, and that's not Rick's style, guys. Because he's done, how many would you say you've taken out and put back in?
Ever or?
Total, yeah, total.
Oh, probably well into the hundreds, I'd say.
So that would probably explain why he's pretty good at this. If he did something 100 times too, he'd be pretty quick.
There we are too. Gearbox pulling. You sure you don't want to do this?
I'm positive. I enjoy watching you make it so effortless.
Yeah,
Make it look so effortless.
actually, I've been starting to do this a little different. Get loosened up just a little more.
Ah, you shove the boots inside.
Turn the boot inside out. You can gain a little bit of room.
The old through the airbox trick.
Which the downfall is, this usually takes me 2 seconds if I'm not being videotaped, but per normal,
Yeah.
put a camera on me and it goes downhill rapidly. Anyway, we'll do it the old-fashioned way on this one, so I don't feel like fighting with them.
They got it wedged in there, huh?
Sure do. But when we go to put it back in,
Inside out them.
stuff them in like that,
Mm.
that much more room.
That much more room.
But
And just like that. Now what? Now we pull coolant lines?
Yep, now we're gonna make a mess.
Look at, I'm like kind of remembering how we just went last year.
It's like you did this before.
Yeah. And like we said last year, there's not really a good way to do this. You put your pans underneath. We'll put more, but you yank that bottom one and let her flow. So we're gonna make a mess and then we'll catch it back when we're cleaned up. Oil pump just got popped out of its spot, right?
Yep.
All motor mounts are disconnected. And the Hulk's gonna yank her on out. Look at you go. It's like you've done it 100 times. You sweating?
Yeah.
It is warm. Well, because it's 85 degrees outside. And 850 power plant out. I know it's not easy, but you make it look really easy.
First person to tell me that.
What, that it's not easy, or that you make it look easy?
That it looks easy.
Well, there's part one of our 9R build, guys. I know I didn't go into too much detail of how to get it all out, but again, we did that last year. I figured you guys just like some jokes between me and Rick and watching the big stuff happen. So that is really it. We're gonna take lunch. We're gonna end this video off, take lunch, and then we're gonna drop the Indy Specialties 9R in, because that's ready to go, right?
Well, I got a couple of things I got to swap over still.
Right.
But aside from that, yeah, it should be headed in shortly.
Look at that. So that's it, guys. I hope you're as excited as we are. Did you get to ride the 9R last year? I know you got the cross country for a day. That's brutal. So we'll have to get Rick on this one, but guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Like I said, part one 9R build, we'll do install next, and then fire up just like we did last year. I think we'll fire it today.
It could happen.
Woohoo! So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and big thank you to Rick, as always. And we'll see you guys.